Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero podcast, the show where I cover the least in the best way possible. I'm your host, Jason Wells. Today is Wednesday, December 10th. We're kind of back to knowing how the NFL landscape is all fitting in, and when I say kinda, I still mean sorta, not really. I think right now in my power rankings anyways, I like my top 10 teams. I think these teams that I have in the top 10 are the top 10 teams in the league. Then after that, my team 11 through 21, big giant blur, all the same to me. And that includes teams like the Bills, the Ravens, the Chargers, the Bengals, the Steelers, the Colts. It's, again, all over the place at the moment. But this is what makes NFL fun. I don't know who's going to win. I don't even have like a top 3, top 4 of these are going to be the teams in the end. That makes for interesting football. That makes it interesting every single week. These playoff positions, they matter. Seeding matters. These games are becoming much, much more important than they have been all season, but that's just how seasons work. Of course, the games later end up meaning more. Regardless, NFL football is always great. In this episode, get to talk about a little bit of NFL draft stuff. I'm kind of going to give, I think I said last week I was going to do like my top 15 players. I think I'm just going to kind of give like a general overview. It's mainly going to be me saying a lot of names of guys who I like, and just, again, my overall opinions on the upcoming NFL draft class. And then, of course, recapping these week 14 games. Lots of good ones to talk about, so I guess let's just get right into this draft overview here. So I'll kind of break it down position by position. We're not going to talk about special teams, of course, but I guess let's just kind of start it off on defense. I'll save quarterback for last. Quarterback is obviously the most interesting part, but let's start off with the safeties. Ohio State safety Caleb Downs. If you're a college fan or an NFL draft fan in general, Caleb Downs is a name that you've been hearing for the last couple of years, is because he is probably the best defensive player in football. He might be the best defensive player in this class, but because he plays safety, positional value eventually does matter, but someone is going to end up with a stud in Caleb Downs. Other names that have popped up on my radar just through looking, Emmanuel McNeil Warren from Toledo. Yes, Toledo. That's where Quinyon Mitchell came from. He's looking pretty damn good. Emmanuel McNeil Warren's getting some buzz. I've seen buzz for Kamari Ramsey, the USC safety, AJ Halsey, the LSU safety, and also Dylan Thieneman, the Oregon safety. Yet to see Thieneman anyways play in the college football playoff coming up. We'll jump over to corners now too. Corners, not a bad year for corners anyways. For guys getting first round buzz, it is Mansour Delane out of LSU. Kind of burst on the scene out of nowhere. I think he's a senior. He had a very, very good year this year, and he's argued as the top corner in this draft. The other top corner in this draft is Avion Terrell from Clemson. That is AJ Terrell's, the Falcons corner. It is his little brother looking to kind of follow in his footsteps. I think AJ Terrell went to Clemson too. I mean, makes sense if whatever. Avion Terrell is also getting first round buzz, but the guy who hasn't even played a snap this year, it is Tennessee corner Jermod McCoy. Going into the year, he was corner number 1, didn't play a snap of football because of, unfortunately, he tore his ACL during off-season training in like early January, so he missed the entire year, and he still might be the number 1 corner off the board just based off his 2024 tape. That kind of shows a special player right there. Other guys to look out for, Colton Hood, Jermod's teammate at Tennessee, Brandon Cease, the corner at South Carolina, and then AJ Harris, the corner out of Penn State. Moving on to the linebackers right now. Good linebacker class. I feel like we've had like a few down years at linebacker where like no one's really great anyways. And this one, again, I don't know if we have any. Again, it all depends on what you have Arvell Reese as. I think I'm going to talk about Arvell Reese in the edge group. But, yeah, For the off-ball linebackers, we have Sonny Styles, the Ohio State linebacker, C.J. Allen, the Georgia linebacker, Anthony Hill Jr., the Texas linebacker, and then Jake Goldie, the Cincinnati linebacker. Those are kind of like the big four. Again, for off-ball linebackers, there is Arvell Reese, but we'll just talk about Arvell Reese when we talk about edge, which is going to be right now. Edge is by far the deepest position group in this draft class, I will say. So we'll talk about Arvell Reese in a bit, but even without Arvell Reese, Ruben Bain out of Miami, he's a stud. Keldrick Falk out of Auburn, David Bailey out of Texas Tech. Like, he's the driving force on that Texas Tech defense. Excited to watch them in the college football playoff. TJ Parker out of Clemson, he had a lot of top 10 buzz to start the year, but Clemson had a terrible season, so his stock kind of drops because of that. We have Cassius Howell out of Texas A&M, Mateo Uiagalelei out of Oregon, LT Overton from Bama, Quincy Rhodes Jr. from Arkansas, Joshua Josephs from Tennessee, R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma, Romello Height from Texas Tech. Again, I just named 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I just named 11 guys who, I think at one time or another, I have seen all of these guys mocked in a first round at some point. Again, we're a long ways from the draft, but edge is very, very strong. If you need an edge rusher, this is the year to go out and grab one. There seems to be an abundance of them. And I haven't even talked about Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese has, again, burst onto the scene this year, one of the best defenders in college football this year. And he's kind of a bit of a tweener. And you might be listening, it's like, you didn't like tweeners last year. You did not like Jalen Walker from Georgia. And I did not like Jalen Walker. He didn't test throughout the process. I didn't see his, athleticism really on display because he was supposed to be a super athlete. And he was small. Jalen Walker was 6'1", 220, playing linebacker. And hey, he's having a pretty good rookie season. I'll give him credit there. But Arvell Reese is what you want your tweener linebackers to be. I think he's 6'3", 6'4", 240. That is a modern day NFL linebacker. He can fly around. He can do whatever. Arvell Reese is a hell of a lot of fun. That's for damn sure. So, if you really liked Jalen Walker last year, I think you will love Arvell Reese this year. And then finally, interior defensive lineman. We got big Peter Woods out of Clemson. Talked about as the potentially number one player in this class. But again, Clemson had a bad year, and it does hurt draft prospects to a certain extent. But Peter Woods is still talked about almost a surefire top 10 player. So that just shows you that. Caden McDonald out of Ohio State. I think he's huge. I want to say he's 340 or something like that. He's a big boy. Amari Washington out of Oregon, Caleb Banks out of Florida, Christian Miller out of Georgia, and then Dominique Orange out of Ohio State. Got to give Big Citrus a shout out just for the fact that his nickname is Big Citrus. Shout out to the NFL Stock Exchange guys. But yeah, Dominique Orange, great name. Dominique Big Citrus Orange, even better name. But those are just a few guys there on the defensive line. Interior offensive line. This is always one of the hard ones to predict because a lot of these tackles that they have on the consensus boards, they shift over to guard at some point. And the number one guard, and the guy's name that I've seen is Penn State guard Ole Vavega Ione. I said that completely wrong, but that is the one true guard that I have seen countless times people talk about that he's the best interior offensive lineman in this class. Other guys who I saw kind of throughout the year go up and go down. Connor Lew, the center from Auburn, Jake Slaughter, the guard from Florida. And I think that's about it. Offensive tackle. Again, not a great year for offensive tackle, but there's usually some risers. I got in an argument with one guy on Twitter who tried to tell me that, it's a bad offensive tackle class because Dane Brugler only had 3 guys in his top 30, where Dane Brugler had 3 guys in his top 30 last year, and there was, 5 offensive tackles taken in the first round? Things shift, opinions change. Armin Membu wasn't in his top 50 at this point last year, and Armin Membu went on to be a top 10 pick and had a fantastic season for the Jets, regardless. There is the Utah tackles, Spencer Fanu and Caleb Lomu. Both of them will probably be probably be first-round picks. Francis Moiaga from Miami. He's one of these, he can be a tackle, but he might be like a really, really good guard, so we'll see how that shakes out for him. Caden Proctor, who just might be too big. Think of him like a Mekhi Becton, who, if you remember Becton coming out of Louisville, mammoth of a man, superhuman athlete, but just like couldn't hang it like in the NFL on the at the tackle spot and shifted over to guard and had a good year last year for the Eagles, but injuries. And there's Isaiah World out of Oregon. Jennings Dunker from Iowa. I just like that name. Trevor Gooseby from Texas is another guy, but he might go back to school. Tight ends now. Not a ton to really talk about. I feel like the mid-round guys who you'll see is Max Clare from Ohio State, Michael Trigg from Baylor, and Oscar Delp from Georgia. But one of my favorite players in this class already is Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq. Just a super athlete. I think he's like 6'4", 240. He moves well. He jumps well. He's just faster than most. And this might be the thing in college where, yeah, you can just put like a super athlete at tight end and he can just, because he's a much better athlete, make it work. But I think that Kenyon Sadiq does have like the intangibles that you want at the next level too. Like he is a more than willing blocker. Again, he has great hands, great catch radius. Someone will be lucky to pick this guy in the top 20 picks, and yes, I am saying that Kenyon Sadiq will be a top 20 pick, and I will be more bold going into the draft. Wide receiver, another deep draft like always. Again, I've been saying it for years, but wide receivers are kind of like running backs, where they're a dime a dozen, and again, I understand why you pay guys like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase $40 million, but we'll move on from that because, again, I think that we're getting to that point with wide receivers where there's always good wide receivers coming out in the draft. And, like, again, paying, like, the best of the best, sure. Paying a guy like Brandon Ayuk that amount of money, I don't know. But there's Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State, Carnell Tate from Ohio State, Makai Lemon from USC, Denzel Boston from Washington, Chris Bell from Louisville, Kevin Concepcion from Texas A&M, another name that I obviously really like, Chris Brazel from Tennessee, Jeremy Bernard from Alabama, Elijah Surratt from Indiana, Zachariah Branch from Georgia, Omar Cooper from Indiana. There's a good amount of names. The one I'll throw in there at the end is Nick Arbor out of South Carolina. I feel like he goes back to school, but this was the first year where Nick Arbor fully committed to football, and you might be like, what are you talking about? He's a college football player. He's a Div 1 college football player. How is he not committed to football? He's a track star. He's 6'5", 250, and runs a 4.3. Like, he might be the fastest guy in college football while also being like a superhuman freak athlete, like just size-wise, and he hasn't learned how to play football yet, and maybe another offseason under his belt, he gets going, but someone will pick him regardless just because they don't build people like Nick Arbor. Moving on to the running backs here. Again, running backs is usually one of those things where we hear about a lot of guys like later on who we like in the later days of the draft, but only one guy is worthy of a first-round selection, and that is Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love. Heisman finalist, had a terrific season this year. I think he averaged almost 10 yards a carry. Terrific back. Interested to see what he does in the college football playoffs, but Notre Dame is not in the college football playoffs, so oh well. Other guys to look out for, Love's teammate, Jadarian Price, Emmett Johnson from Nebraska, the Penn State backs Nick Singleton and Katron Allen, and then Jonah Coleman out of Washington as well. And finally, the quarterback position. The quarterback position was deemed at the start of the year to be, it's going to be a great quarterback draft class, and as the season progressed, guys like Arch Manning, Garrett Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik, Lenora Sellers are either all bad or going back to school. And again, we still don't know who's declaring yet, but yeah, this draft class is not as strong as we once thought. QB1, Fernando Mendoza. I talked about Fernando Mendoza almost like 2 weeks after the last draft. And right now, he is basically QB1 without knowing what else is going on. The only other name that I'll mention is someone who I'm interested in as like a first-round talent, Oregon QB Dante Moore. There's talk about him going back to school. He's only 20. This was kind of his first, I guess he started at UCLA as a true freshman, but either way. Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, those are the two guys that I would be interested in drafting in the first round. People want to throw Ty Simpson in those conversations. Ty Simpson is just this year's version of Garrett Nussmeier. He's not good enough at the end of the day. To me, if Lenoris Sellers does declare, I think he should go back, go to a better program with just a better offense and just better everything. I think I would still take Lenoris Sellers above any of those QBs because I think Lenoris Sellers at the end of the day can be a special QB, where I think that Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore are the guys who are like, they can be top 10 quarterbacks. They can win you a Super Bowl, but they're not freaks. They're not these aliens like Josh Allen and Lamar and Mahomes and Drake May. They're just not. And that's okay. That can win you a lot of football games, but when the ultimate goal is Super Bowls, having a absolute freak at quarterback helps a lot. And that's why I'm a fan of Lenoris Sellers. I guess we'll see what Drew Aller, too. I feel bad for Drew Aller. I think Drew Aller would have been like a easy first round pick last year, like might have been picked over Cam Ward. I'll still hold out on that. And now he goes back to college, gets injured, and now he'll probably be like a day 3 pick. Again, I don't know. We'll see. But that's a general overview of the draft. And let's get into this week 14 recap. Do I want to do... No, I'll do my fantasy stuff now because I feel like I might be rushed at the end and want to just get off. But NFL fantasy worked out great for me this year. In my own league, I only came 7th. But because of my fantastic rule of points for matter, and that last spot is decided by points for, I came 6th. And they're like, oh, you might be, that's an unfair rule. I scored the second most points in the league, which I think just 30 behind Keegan with like 1,650. I had 1,620 points scored against me. By far the most we have ever had in my league ever. I deserve to be in these playoffs. Shut the fuck up. Mainly you, Cameron. My other league, my college league, I got what I needed. Evan Greenfield did win, but I also won. I beat him in points for. That was the tiebreaker. Our instructor, Will, we had like a writing basics exam, and one of the things was just to like go revise this piece of work, and it was just about our fantasy league and how tiebreakers work, because I texted him to be like, hi, how do tiebreakers work? I want to know if I'm going to beat Greenfield. And he literally, that was the thing that we had to revise, was him breaking down our fantasy league and tiebreakers and blah, blah, blah. And look at that. I'm in the fantasy playoffs now. I don't think I'm going to do well in that league, but regardless, I made playoffs. And then the $20 league, the league that a Weiss runs, again, made playoffs. Feel pretty good. I need some good games from Lamar Jackson. It's a 2 QB league, and he is my main guy, and he's not been doing great recently. So we'll see how that goes, but all this to say, good year for me in fantasy. Let's keep it up. And let's get into these Week 14 games. I think I said this already, but let's start off with the Monday night game. Eagles at Chargers. Eagles 19, Chargers 22. This game went to overtime. My first note I have here is just ha 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 ha. What a joke of a game. From both sides, this was just sloppy football. I mean, mainly from the Eagles, but because we talk about the winning team first, so let's talk about the Chargers. The Chargers absolutely needed this win. This was a must-win for the Chargers, in my opinion. The AFC wildcard, it is such a tight race of who's getting into these final wildcard spots. The Chargers beating the Eagles, gives them another leg up, because I know that they do have a tough schedule down the stretch here, and it started with the Eagles. Again, a game that they needed to win. They have the Chiefs next week, I believe. Where are they? There. They do have the Chiefs. They go to Arrowhead next week to play the Chiefs. Then they have the Titans. Oh, wait, that's the Chiefs. Then they have the Cowboys, Texans, and Broncos. So there is a world where the Chiefs win out and the Chargers lose out and the Chiefs make the playoffs, but it'll be tough. Again, I don't know what to think about a lot of these teams, and the Chargers just continually keep winning. Did Justin Herbert become the first quarterback ever in the Super Bowl era to complete under 50% of his passes, throw under 150 yards, get sacked 7+ times, and have multiple turnovers and win a game? Yeah, he was. But they're winning. And I guess that's all that really matters. Omarion Hampton made his return. He looked pretty good. Kamani Vidal was also part of the game. He obviously looked worse than Hampton, but he had one catch for 60 yards, and that was huge. I mean, that was that was almost half of Justin Herbert's passing yards in this game. Like, again, shout out to the Chargers defense, because they did exactly what they needed to do, and they forced a shit ton of turnovers against the Eagles. And shout out to Tony Jefferson in particular, the Chargers safety. He has 4 interceptions this season. The last time this man has had an interception like in a season was 2018. And he has just 4 this season. Tony Jefferson's probably a person that a lot of people don't remember, because Tony Jefferson was good like pre-COVID. And then, again, injury stuff, and he's been up and down, and finally, again, he looks like he's kind of regained his form. He's 33 years old. He will definitely be nominated for the Damn That Old Dude Is Still Playing Good Ball award. Shout out Tony Jefferson. Eagles on the other side. I don't think that positivity bunny really helped. I'll just point that out there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the Eagles put up like an 8-foot inflatable Easter bunny thing in their room and called him the positivity bunny. I find it especially hilarious because the bunny had like a giant Easter egg with him after offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo's house got egged over the previous weekend. So, little bit ironic there, but yeah, the Eagles are just a dumpster fire. And when I say the Eagles, it's mainly the offense. And when I say the offense, it's just mainly Jalen Hurts. And obviously, I don't like Kevin Patullo either, but Jalen Hurts, holy shit, what a fucking game you had. 5 turnovers on the day, and the first player in NFL history to have 2 turnovers on the same play. If you're confused what I'm talking about, Hurts threw a terrible interception to defensive lineman Deshaun Hand. Hand started running it back. Ball got punched out by Will Shipley. Jalen Hurts got the ball back. And then I think Jamari Caldwell punched the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands, and then the Chargers recovered. So Jalen Hurts, 1 play, 1 interception, 1 lost fumble. Absolutely incredible. Like, I don't know what has happened to Jalen Hurts. And obviously they win a Super Bowl. He looked great in that playoff run. He's looked great in the playoffs in general, but this is bad. You gave this guy a lot of money to be your franchise quarterback. And again, I had my doubts even after the Super Bowl of being like, I don't think that Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback. And I feel absolutely vindicated this year, because you're telling me that like your defense, again, did all of those things to Justin Herbert, held him under 150 yards, forced multiple turnovers, for like under 50% completion percentage. Like, the Eagles defense had a really good game. And you're telling me that, like, the Eagles with Saquon and Jordan Mailata and Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson and Dallas Goedert and A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, like, couldn't score, like, a handful of points, like, to beat this team? Again, it's embarrassing at this point for the Eagles, and very embarrassing for Jalen Hurts. I don't know what happens. I think that the Cowboys are absolutely in play for this division. Shout out to Saquon Barkley. He had a very, very good game. Maybe you should have ran the ball instead of trying to pass the ball in overtime with like lots of time left on the clock, first down. But, you know, I'm not the coach. I don't make those decisions. But Saquon, welcome back. And yeah, this Eagles defense, again, continues to have fantastic games. They forced multiple turnovers in this one, held the Chargers to 22 points. Again, it went to overtime, but held them off, did what they could, and this offense just gives them nothing back in return. Vic Fangio is doing all he can. Like, no Jalen Carter either for the Eagles. They didn't have their best defensive player, and they still whooped the Chargers offense. And again, the Chargers still win at the end of the day. I saw someone say, I don't know what part of the game this was, but like Justin Herbert was getting pressured on like 72% of his snaps, which is ridiculously high. I don't know. The Eagles are a sad team right now. We'll keep going. All the way back to Thursday Night Football now. Cowboys 33, Lions 44. This offense continues to be electric as always. They got it going with the running game. David Montgomery, I think, had 60 yards and a touchdown. Gibbs didn't have a ton of yards. I think he only had like 40-some yards, but added 3 touchdowns on the ground. I think he had 70 some yards receiving as well. Amon-Ra, people didn't know if he was playing, if he was not. He had that ankle sprain. He ended up playing. He ended up having, again, a very good game for Amon-Ra. Not a very good game for his standards, but like a good game, a game you expect Amon-Ra to have. And he passed Michael Thomas for the fastest player to 500 career receptions. I think it was that. It was some stat where he passed Michael Thomas for receptions. And again, Amon-Ra's having a terrific, terrific career. Start to his career so far. Yeah, like the Lions offense is the thing that makes this like team go. If the offense is thriving, makes everyone else's jobs a little easier. I think Brian Branch got injured though. I think he's out for the year now, which is very unfortunate because now they're out without Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph might be coming back soon-ish anyways. Only other stat I have for the Lions, Jahmyr Gibbs. I guess I have two more stats. Jahmyr Gibbs now tied with Randy Moss for the most touchdowns through before the player turns 24. I think that's the stat. He's now tied with Randy Moss with 47 touchdowns before he turns 24. Shout out to Jahmyr Gibbs. And Isaac TeSlaa gets another TD in this one. Isaac TeSlaa, 8 catches for 4 touchdowns on the year. Cool stat. Good job. Cowboys, on the other hand, George Pickens had a George Pickens game, and that's not what you think I mean. He had his Steelers temper tantrum where he's just kind of doing what he wants on the field, and I saw a lot of people, and a lot of Steelers fans especially, taking like victory lap shots of being like, oh, this is who we want, this is who you guys think is like, oh, like, he cost them the game, he cost them their season potentially. George Pickens is one of the only reasons this Cowboys team is still in contention. Let's just remind everybody that. And yeah, these are just games you expect from crazy people. Let's be real, George Pickens is a borderline crazy person, and borderline might be being a little generous. Yeah, like, again, it's the lack of effort, it's the not being on the same page with Dak, especially when CD went down with that concussion. Like, they needed Pickens to step up, Pickens did not step up. But Ryan Flournoy stepped up. He ended up with 100 yards on the game. Shout out to Ryan Flournoy. But George Pickens is George Pickens, and he's still an absolute stud, despite kind of the off game. The CD concussion, he was having a very good game too, but then did he end up making that catch for a touchdown? I think he did. And then smacked his head on the ground. That was it. They pulled him from the game. Unfortunate too. Again, I don't know if he would have been the difference maker at the end. Like, the Lions offense was just way too good for what the Cowboys were doing. Savone Ravel got picked on a lot. Again, someone who I really liked, who, had a very good, like, few weeks, like, coming back from his injury, and now it was a bad game against the Lions, but the Lions have a lot of good players and a very good offensive system, and they're easy to pick guys apart. Last up for the Cowboys, Brandon Aubrey, 4 for 4 from 63, 57, 55, and 42. Incredible kicker. I think he's the fastest kicker to 100 field goals in his first 3 years or something like that. Some stat like that. Either way, it's a kicking stat. Who really cares? And we'll move on to the Sunday games. Steelers at Ravens. Steelers 27, Ravens 22. We ended up with kind of a vintage Aaron Rodgers performance to start this game. Throwing all over the field to DK Metcalf and then ending that first drive with a rushing touchdown. We saw the discount double-check TD celebration, something I haven't seen in years at this point, if you don't remember. Aaron Rodgers was sponsored by State Farm at some point before he went a little cuckoo, but good old discount double check. Aaron Rodgers kind of turned back the clock. That second half, it wasn't particularly pretty, but they did the job. DK Metcalf had his best performance as a Steeler as well. 7 catches for 148 yards. The Steelers did what they needed to do. Wasn't a pretty win, wasn't whatever, but they win. They're now the number 1 team in the AFC North. They're a game up on the Ravens and a game up on them in the in the head-to-head as well. I think they have one more game down the stretch too, which will be very, very important. But shout out to the Steelers. Again, I don't think they're a good team. I don't think anyone should think that they're a good team. But any given Sunday, they can beat almost anyone in the league just because, again, my team's 11 through 21. It's all a blur. The Steelers are part of that. That means that, they can beat that 11th team, or they could lose to that 21st ranked team. It is what it is at this point. The Ravens. The Ravens just flat out suck. And I know Lamar is hurt and he has all his injuries, but Lamar is bad. Lamar, when he is not the superhuman athlete that he is, it's not pretty. And he can't be a superhuman athlete forever. His speed, his athleticism, his agility, it'll all dwindle with age and hopefully not with injuries. But right now, it's not the same. It's not the same offense. They can't run the ball as well. They can't pass the ball as well. I mean, Zay Flowers had a good game, but it's not good. Nothing is. I don't know. Them losing to the Steelers is soul crushing in my opinion. There was some news that came off of Reddit from an anonymous user who said that she was a former girlfriend of I forget who, but talking about things, and apparently Lamar and a lot of players have wanted Harbaugh out for a while. Apparently, Nemadi Madubuike, who injured his neck early on in the season, he might be retiring, which would be dreadful for him and the team. What were the other things that were of note, of worthy? I think those are the two notable ones, that they want Harbaugh fired and that Madubuike might retire. But, those are just some fun notes, I guess, on the team. Oh, also that Isaiah Likely, non-TD that was controversial and people were arguing online, that wasn't a touchdown. I don't know, I immediately said when I was watching that, he caught that, he lost the ball, and then I was like, why is that a touchdown? That should not be a touchdown. He did not complete that catch. And people are, oh, he got 2 feet in bounds. But it's okay, if you get your 2 feet in bounds and then immediately lose the football, you didn't catch the football. You got to complete the catch. This isn't oh, I held the ball in the end zone for a split second and then lost it. That's not how. I don't know. I think it was made very clear that shouldn't have been a TD. I agree that it wasn't a TD. And if me and Gene Steratore are saying the same thing, we must be saying something right. Oh, and look at this. Special guest appearance. Lucy making her Cover Zero debut in New Brunswick, sleeping very nicely on the couch, and she won't pick up her head. But, yeah, I got my dog recording beside me now for all the audio listeners. We can move on, though. Seahawks at Falcons. Seahawks 37, Falcons 9. This Seahawks defense is just so goddamn fun. They are so goddamn good. Yeah, this is the year. There are a lot of teams with very good, at least one unit anyways. I got the Texans at the top, and then Seahawks and Broncos the next two. Lots of fun defenses in the league, and I hope you don't mew, and I hope you don't, yeah. Thank you, Lucy. But yeah, this Seahawks defense is phenomenal. They can basically do what they want versus almost anyone. They are the first team since 1982 in a span to allow fewer than 10 points, allow 3 or fewer third down conversions, and force 8+ turnovers. That is just, again, and that's over the course of 2 games. They did all of those things. Less than 10 points in 2 games, 3 or third down conversions, whatever. The Seahawks defense, all this to say, very, very good. And shout out to rookie Nick Emanwari, their safety. In this game, he had a sack, a tackle for loss, an interception, and a blocked field goal. And he joins teammate Leonard Williams as the only players to ever do that in NFL history. Leonard Williams accomplished that feat last year, and now Nick Emanwari does the same. Again, they're the only 2 players to ever do that in NFL history. And they've done it in back-to-back years, both on the same team. It's a bit of a crazy stat. It obviously is. Shout out to Rashid Shaheed, adding to the kick return TDs in this one as well. I think it was the longest kick return touchdown of the year. Shaheed's a fun player. The Falcons. Who cares? James Pierce Jr. gets another sack. Cool. I have nothing. This is a bad Falcons team, badly coached, badly managed. Yeah, I don't know what to say. The Falcons are bad. The Falcons are very bad, especially with no Drake London in the picture. The Falcons absolutely stink. So we can move on to two teams who do stink, but put up a very fun game anyways. Titans 31, Browns 29. The Titans no longer hold the first overall pick. They're now picking at third overall with, I think, the Giants and the Raiders at 1 and 2. See how that goes. It's not like the Titans needed a QB anyways, but obviously they would have liked the trade back if they had the option, but they'll get a good player at 3. Not the end of the world. But this was hey, remember Tony Pollard? What happened to him? He was a pretty good running back. Tony Pollard still is a good running back. He just happens to play for the Tennessee Titans in this game. 25 carries, 161 yards, 2 TDs. Broke off 2 long rushing touchdowns too. Like, Tony Pollard was their offense. I think they had 290 some total yards. Tony Pollard accounted for 160 of those. Like, he was the engine that moved their entire offense all day. He's still a good back. It's just the Titans absolutely suck. I don't think I have anything else really to say. Jeffrey Simmons is a monster as always. He does his job. I hope that he ends up on a good team at some point too. I mean, Jeffrey Simmons was on good teams with the Titans when they had Mike Vrabel, but they've been a dumpster fire since... I mean, the Titans have basically been a dumpster fire since they traded away A.J. Brown and that whole debacle, but regardless, I'll give a shout out to Cam Ward, rookie QB, for... I think it was Tyson Campbell, the Browns corner, went to go, wrap him up, bring him down for a sack, and just, couldn't. And, Cam Ward, it was just kind of... It's kind of like when you're playing, football or any, contact sport with, your little cousins or little, brother or whatever, and I'm saying, little where you have, a 5-year age gap on them, where, you've hit puberty, you are much bigger, stronger, whatever, and this is still, a child, where that's what it looked like, where Cam Ward was just kind of sitting there holding the ball, looking down the field, where he has some guy wrapped around his waist trying to bring him down, and just kind of shook him off, ended up throwing the ball away. But, yeah, cool play by Cam Ward. I laughed anyways. Browns on the other side. Didn't expect the Titans to score that many points. Didn't expect Myles Garrett to have his lowest pass rush win rate of the season at 4%. But that's what happens when you get triple teamed basically every single play. Myles Garrett still managed to come away with a sack. He is now at 20.5 on the season. Only needs 2 more to tie the record, 3 to break it. He's got 4 more games to do it. I hope he does it anyways. But the Browns defense, not great in this one. Again, it was really just 2 big Tony Pollard runs. But Shedeur, because this is who we have to talk about. It's Shedeur Sanders, and he looked good. I don't think that Sanders is, doing anything mind-blowing or anything crazy. Again, I was making the joke with Cameron and Keegan that, Shedeur, a 68-yard touchdown pass. That's crazy. Oh, my God, he just had another 50-plus one, where it's, screen passes or short passes that, Judkins, and I forget who the other receiver was, who, took them for long. It's not oh, what a play by Shedeur, but it's still funny to say. And Shedeur had a good game. Again, let's temper our expectations. He's not the second coming of fucking Tom Brady here, but he's a good quarterback. He's the first Browns quarterback with 300 plus passing yards, 3 plus TDs, and a rush TD in a game since 1950. That seemingly just makes him the best Browns quarterback of all time, in my opinion, but it is what it is. End of the game, though, they had a chance to bring this game to overtime. They score a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and Kevin Stefanski takes Shedeur off the field to go into Wildcat, which had been successful a couple times before, but this time it is not. They fail. I think Quinshon Judkins just forgot what he was supposed to do. I think it was definitely supposed to be a double reverse. He got it, started running to the right. I don't know who was running around to he was supposed to pop it to him and get the other play, because if he would have popped it to that guy would have scored a touch, or would have got the 2-point conversion anyways, but they didn't. And now people are mad at Kevin Stefanski. Again, that's the whole, you're sabotaging Sanders. How could you do this? You're a racist. Again, the discourse around Shedeur is just hilarious in general. But yeah, it's a bad moment. Your quarterback who had a very good game. Should maybe just stay in the game for like the rest of it. But yeah, I don't know. That's just me anyways. Shout out to rookie Harold Fannin. Keep talking about him. One of my guys from this past draft. Was a bit of an odd duck in college, but he ended up having a great rookie year. The rookie year is still ongoing, but it looks like the Browns have found their next tight end anyways. And we can keep going to the next game. Dolphins at Jets. Dolphins 34, Jets 10. The Jets' Gotham City uniforms could not save them. They were waiting for Bane to blow a hole in the middle of the field so the game could get canceled. It was 21-0 for the Dolphins after the first quarter. We were steamrolling them. We could do whatever we wanted. And then Devon Achane got hurt. He's fine. Apparently he just landed on the ball funny, like hurt his ribs. He could have come back into the game, but Mike McDaniel, learning from his past mistakes, is like, this game doesn't matter. We want you to play in the other game. So it was the Jalen Wright, Ollie Gordon show. They both did pretty well. Tua played well. Jalen Waddle played well. Darren Waller made some plays. The offense did what it needed to do. Wasn't pretty, wasn't great, but by all means, it was good winning football game, a whooping, a team that we should whoop, and we did. So that was nice to see anyways. Chop Robinson gets a sack, just needs more playing time. All you people freaking out again this season, need to calm the fuck down. Jets on the other side, their special teams is really good. I think on Pardon My Take, they said that the Jets special teams has like the best DVOA since the 2007 Bears, and that was like the Bears team with Devin Hester. So yeah, the Jets are doing their thing. It's nice to see. Again, steps in the right direction. They're still not like a great team, obviously, but this is a morale boosting year for Aaron Glenn. Isn't that right, Lucy? Is it a morale boosting year for Aaron Glenn? Yeah. Those are your thoughts? Thank you. Yeah, I don't have much more to really add from this one. Oh, yeah, Tyrod Taylor leaves with an injury. Brady Cook comes in. Never expected to see Brady Cook in an NFL game in my life. I think it was a day 3 pick from Missouri. Also, sorry if you can hear Lucy doing her mewing in the background. This is what happens after she eats her dinner. She likes to sit there and just kind of lick air. So if you hear any of those sounds, it's just, again, you can't get mad at Lucy because she is a dog, and she is my dog, so you especially can't get mad at her. But those are the sounds if you do hear them. Yeah, are you making noise? Well, now you're not. Thank you. But yeah, Brady Cook got to play an NFL game, and it went about as well as you expected. Brady Cook is very bad at football. Hopefully Tyrod's okay. If anything, hopefully Justin Fields is back. I didn't realize Justin Fields was actually injured. I thought he got benched, but we can keep going. Saints at Bucks. Saints 24, Bucks 20. Game was played in a monsoon. Did not realize that, but it was pouring rain the entire game. Tyler Shuck, though, became the first Saints quarterback to have multiple wins in their first season since Archie Manning. Yeah, Peyton and Eli's dad, Arch's grandfather. We're going back a long ways for that one. Yeah, Tyler Shuck was fine. He did exactly like what he needed to do, his game manager thing. He had 2 rushing touchdowns where like he scrambled, like maybe he should scramble a little bit more, but yeah, Saints get like a shocking win. I'm very surprised that the Bucks dropped this one, but the Bucks continue to surprise me in like a bad sense. They need Mike Evans back. Obviously they don't. Yeah. It would be nice for them not to play in the pouring rain. Like that would be a huge plus as well, but this team like needs to beat the Saints, and not even like like they should have beat the Saints, but like a divisional opponent when the division is still on the line, and the Saints just aren't a good team. Like, let's just be real, the Saints are not a good team, but they beat the Bucks. So what does that say about the Bucks? I have no idea. The run game couldn't get going. I mean, I think Baker threw the ball 30 times. I think they rushed it like 35 times. They just couldn't do anything. So shout out to the Saints, I guess, for like really stopping them. Bucks at the end of the day, though, they are in control of their own destiny. They They play the Panthers one more time, I think, and I think they've already beaten them already. Maybe they play them 2 more times. Either way, these divisional races are heating up. This was probably one of the biggest games of the week, just in terms of things that happened. But Colts at Jaguars, Colts 19, Jags 36, and we will start off with the Jags. But something maybe I should have known before this game, and I ended up betting the Jags money line anyways, just because I was like, I think I like the Jags, and Daniel Jones on a broken leg, I'm not really sure, but if I knew this, would have made me feel a lot better. The Colts haven't won in Jacksonville for 4,104 days now. Yep, that is a long, long time. That brings it back, I want to say like the 2013 season, I think, if I'm doing mental math off the top of my head. I'm not great at that, but either way, over a decade ago is when the last time the Colts beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville, which is absolutely crazy. And yeah, the Jags maintained that streak and they whooped them. And the Jags have something. They got something going for them, and I don't know what. They don't have a particularly great offense. It's playing much, much better recently. Much, much better recently, I will say that. They don't really have a great defense, but like, they can both play great at times. They can both play bad at times. One can play great. The other one can play bad. The Jags are weird, but they've got something there. Whether it's between Liam Cohen or Anthony Campanelli, the defensive coordinator, or just kind of the players buying into the system and what's happening around them, I have no idea. But the Jags now have 9 wins on the season. They are first in their division. I don't know. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. I thought that, again, the Jags were one of these teams this year where I'm like, I can see the pieces everywhere of how this could work really well, but will it come together? And apparently it has. And 9 wins, obviously it has, but I still can't fully buy into a 9-win Jags team with this. This just shows you how the NFL has really worked this year. But they have scored 25 points in 6 straight games. This offense has been much, much better. I think since week 10, they are one of the better offenses in football. So shout out to them. Shout out for Travis Etienne. He had a big game rushing the football in this one. And shout out to Jakobi Meyers. Since being acquired from a trade, he has 22 catches for 284 yards, 3 TDs. He's a big reason why this offense is looking more functional. This now opens up BTJ to do the things that he wants to do, which is run long routes, run deep routes. That's really all Brian Thomas Jr. does want to do, and Jakobi Meyers can run the stuff in the middle, underneath. I'm thinking, because Jakobi Meyers is still a free agent at the end of the year, I don't think the Jags are going to re-sign them, that the hope is for Travis Hunter when he's back healthy. He will take over the Jakobi Meyers role while also being their number 1 corner. We'll see how that goes. I still have my faith that he can play both sides, but I think this is how they envisioned using Travis Hunter at the end of the day. I think that they would have gotten there with Travis Hunter if he hadn't gotten injured, but it is what it is. The Jags are playing good football. The Jags are playing very good football, and I'm still confused by it, but the Jags are playing good football. The Colts on the other side. It's weird, because I have some news that will be for Friday's show, but I think everyone will know at this point that Phillip Rivers is the quarterback now of this Colts team, which I'll save the bulk of my talking on that for Friday's show, because it still doesn't feel real to me. But you might be sitting here, it's like, wait, why are the Colts signing a quarterback? What's wrong with Daniel Jones? So, Daniel Jones, 2 weeks ago now, broke his fibula and somehow managed to play on it. I guess a story came out that while he was at Duke, some of his buddies in college worked on this thing to help mend or help take the pressure. I don't know what it was actually, but basically made him something for his leg, and they're not just Joe Bro college smos, whatever, they're an actual company who have got paid by the NFL to develop this whatever thing that they're doing. But essentially it was a cast plate thing that goes around his leg to stabilize it more, give him a little bit more whatever. And it was okay, cool. I guess it worked, but when you have a broken leg, no matter what's around it, no matter what fancy technology, you will be overcompensating on that leg no matter what. And unfortunately for Daniel Jones, it caused an Achilles injury, and now he needs Achilles surgery, and he's obviously out for the rest of the year now. And it's really too bad. Like, I do feel bad for Daniel Jones. He was having a terrific season, looking like he's going to get another big payday. And again, in a year where the AFC is all out of whack, like, why couldn't the Colts string together some big wins and make a run? Like, they could have done it. Now, obviously, they can't. We'll see what Phillip Rivers does, I guess. But I honestly didn't even notice Daniel Jones getting injured. I saw him get hurt. I saw him the play where, like, he falls back and he slams his helmet into the ground. But I'm watching on Red Zone, so I see him get hurt. I'm like, fuck, he's out for the game probably. And then Red Zone flashes back, and all of a sudden I see a tall white quarterback take a snap, hand it off to Jonathan Taylor, and Jonathan Taylor ended up fumbling on that play, whatever. And I'm like, oh, I guess he's fine. Like, good, I guess. And then I get the news, it's like, oh, he has an Achilles tear. He's out for, like, definitely out for the game, out for the year, like, whatever. And I was like, but he's right there on my screen. I forgot that Riley Leonard existed. And I also forgot that Anthony Richardson is on IR because he took a IT band, an athletic band, it snapped, hit him in the eye, broke his orbital bone, and yeah, he's been hurt because of a snapped exercise band. All information that I have just in one ear out the other, or it's in the deep depths of my brain, but yeah, Riley Leonard ended up coming in. Not great. Not bad, though. Like, I don't think that he was like, oh god, like, we have to sign. But now Riley Leonard has a knee injury. And that's why they were looking at Phillip Rivers. Because, like, okay, Riley Leonard, Phillip Rivers, I'd give Riley Leonard the start. We drafted him, he's a rookie. Like, let's see what he can do, blah, blah, blah. But the option coming in the next week is looking like Brett Rippon versus Phillip Rivers. And I will take Grandpa Phillip Rivers over Brett Rippon any day. But again, more of that for Friday's show. All this is to say for the Colts. What a disaster. What a disaster last few weeks. A month ago, riding high, the number one team in the league. No one can stop them. One of the best offenses. Holy crap. Then they make a trade for Sauce Gardner. They give up their next first 2-round picks. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, our secondary is good. Our defense, our front seven is great. The offense is elite. Like, well, let's go make a run. And then DeForest Buckner is hurt. Sauce Gardner gets hurt. Charvarius Ward goes into concussion protocol again. Daniel Jones breaks his legs, then he tears his Achilles. And now it looks like the season is essentially done. No first-round picks for their next 2 years. Don't know who the franchise quarterback is. Tough. Very, very tough. Again, I don't know how I would be feeling if I was a Colts fan. Obviously a little bit excited just because Phillip Rivers is coming back. But I don't know. You've sunk so much into this team this year, and for them to might not even make the playoffs at the end of the day. Like, I forget what their schedule is, but they also have a really, really tough rest of the season. They play the Seahawks next week. That's not great. Then they play the 49ers, the Jags again, and then the Texans. Like, that's like a gauntlet of a schedule. Those are very, very tough teams to play against, and we'll see how they do. They need at least 2 wins out of that 4 to probably make the playoffs. Maybe just 1 at the end of the day, but I don't know. It's going to be tough for them. But yeah, we can keep going here. Commanders at Vikings. Commanders 0. Vikings 31. This was just a classic game of the Vikings just showing we are the much more talented team. Just everywhere across the board. They were better coached, better talent, and it showed up. Did I think this game was going to be 31-0? Absolutely not. Did I actually pick the Commanders to win this game? Yes, I did, because I thought Jaden Daniels... I'll talk about the Commanders in a bit, but either way, J.J. McCarthy didn't look like the worst quarterback on the planet. That might be rude considering that Max Brosmer is his teammate, but J.J. McCarthy didn't look bad. He didn't even look, again, he didn't look horrifically bad. He didn't look bad in general. He didn't even look okay. J.J. McCarthy, I can say, actually looked good. Pretty damn good. 16 to 23, 163 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, did what he needed to do. That Vikings defense was obviously a big help as well. The run game was getting going between Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. Justin Jefferson, 2 catches for 11 yards. So, he's having fun. He was asked after the game of does this help? And he's like, I'd rather not catch passes and win than not catch passes and lose. So yes, this is better. And yeah, very, very fair. Very, very fair. Other notes for the Vikings, Andrew Van Ginkel, another interception for him. He just knows how to sniff out screen passes. Like, if you see Andrew Van Ginkel, if you're lining up for a screen and Andrew Van Ginkel is on that side, check out of the play, audible to something else. Like, don't throw that way, because again, I think he has 5 interceptions on his career. All of them are from sniffing out screen passes. He has a couple pick sixes from that too. But I feel like all of his passes defended are from plays like that. Like, he is the guy that he does that the best. And it's weird to say, like, Andrew Van Ginkel is like a really good player. He has a spot in my heart just because he was drafted by the Dolphins, but he's awesome. And he doesn't get the credit he deserves, and he's probably the best in the league at sniffing out screen passes. And credit to him for having that talent, because it comes in handy. Shout out Andrew Van Ginkel. Commanders on the other side, I mentioned Jaden Daniels leaves with an injury. Hurt his elbow. I think he threw an interception, Oh, yeah, it was an interception. Andrew Van Ginkel tried to make the play. Someone blocked him. He just landed on his elbow. Funny, out for the game. Marcus Mariota comes in and plays fine, but not good enough. But this team, just bad on defense, bad on offense. They're just not good. They're just flat out not good. For a team that made the NFC Championship game last year to a team that might be picking in the top 5. Who could have saw that coming? Me. I saw that coming. We'll talk about that when we go over the year in review, which will probably be a New Year's Eve show, where I'll just, whatever. I don't need to talk about that right now. God, we're almost at an hour already. Ugh. Bengals at Bills. Bengals 34, Bills 39. One of the best games of the week. Another snow game for the Bills as well. And all of this, we just find out, Josh Allen, very, very good at football. We do this already, but I just need to say it again. Josh Allen, very, very good at football. 22 of 28, 251 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and then 9 rushes for 78 yards and a TD as well. He's the only reason they won this game. Like, flat out the only reason the Bills won this game. And again, I can give credit to the offensive line. They did well enough too. And James Cook had a good game other than fumbling multiple times, like on the goal line, I guess. But without Josh Allen, the Bills lose this one. The Bills defense is fucking garbage. I think that's all I really need to say. The Bills defense is really fucking bad. But yeah, Josh Allen is just really damn good at football. We all know this, but that just needs to be restated over and over again. And Christian Benford with the TSN turning point in the game. His pick 6 increased the Bills' win percentage by 60.8%. According to Next Gen Stats, that is the largest swing outside of the final 2 minutes in the Next Gen Stats era, which I think started in 2016. So, crazy play. The Bengals were winning this game basically the entire day up until that point, and then the Bills just kind of got in their kitchen and managed to win this one. Bengals had some chances late too to potentially close it out. Like, it was 3rd and 15, and Josh Allen just kind of called his own number to be like, okay, I'm going to rush for this, and he ended up rushing for it. They did their job. Bengals on the other side, and I guess this is more of like a Bills thing too, but the Bengals just absolutely cannot cover tight ends whatsoever. I think I mentioned it on Friday's show where going into last week, whoever the tight end won going against the Bengals would have like the eighth most receiving yards in the league. Dawson Knox and Galton Kincaid continue that trend. Yes, I'm throwing 2 of them in there, but sue me. The 2 tight ends combined for 10 catches, 134 yards, and a TD on the day. Bengals can't cover tight ends. Take that into account for whatever betting purposes you may have. T. Higgins had a very good game, 6 catches, 92 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Coming back from his concussion, and then gets another concussion, but then goes back in the game. And now he's back in concussion protocol again. So I don't know what doctor cleared him. I don't know what doctor cleared him for this game, but Higgins back in concussion protocol again. I don't think he's had a healthy season his entire career, which is really unfortunate. He is a really good player, but just hate to see that. Burrow had a good game up until like the final few plays with those 2 interceptions, but he was playing well. Again, this Bengals team just isn't good. They're good enough at points, but they're not good in general, so we can keep going here. Broncos at Raiders. Broncos 24, Raiders 7. Another one of these defenses where the Broncos defense just continues to do their thing. I think they added another 3 sacks on the day in this one. I think they have 54 right now on the year and are currently on pace to match the best season total by the Bears in 1984, I think the stat is. So a lot of defenses out there doing a lot of crazy things. When I say a lot, it's the Texans, it's the Broncos, and it's the Seahawks. Those 3 defenses are so much fun to watch, but the Broncos defense continues to do their thing. The offense, RJ Harvey had a pretty decent game. Bo Nix had like the most Bo Nix stat line ever in this one. What did he have? Because I think he had 31 of 38. That's great. That's such a high completion percentage. Way to go, Bo Nix. He attempted 38 passes. How many yards did he have? 212. That's 5 yards per attempt. That's very bad. Again, game manager of the year, Bo Nix, but it's just, I don't know. It's funny that people seem to think that, oh, he's a top 10 quarterback. Regardless, Raiders on the other side. Oh, did I mark that game wrong? Oh, I did mark that game wrong. Raiders 17, not Raiders 7. Well, that changes things. I mean, the Broncos suck. We know this. The Broncos don't suck. I mean, whatever. We'll talk about the Raiders, though. The Raiders still blow chunks. It is what it is. They can't get the run game going. Their offensive line is absolutely terrible. Brock Bowers is a lot of fun. That's cool. They finally remembered they drafted Jack Besh on day 2, and he's finally getting targets. And, oh, look, he's actually pretty good. Maybe we should have used him all year. I don't know. The Raiders just suck, though. The Raiders are just a bad team. We all know this. Geno Smith gets hurt. Kenny Pickett goes in. I don't know if this is going to be a long-term thing, but I think that Aiden O'Connell is better than Kenny Pickett anyway. So maybe we should play Aiden O'Connell over both of these guys. Regardless, the Raiders are terrible, and we can move on. Bears 21, Packers 28. This was a playoff game. This game gave playoff atmosphere, and both teams should be very proud of the way that they played. Maybe that's I don't know. That's very adult of me to say that both teams should be proud, and even though you lost, you played great out there, Bears. But they did. This was a great game, and it was a great measuring stick game for the Bears as well. Yes, they come away with a loss, but it was right there in the end. We'll start off the Packers though. The Packers do confuse me a shit ton. I don't think they have any great weapons on offense. I don't think their offensive line is all too strong. I really like Jordan Love, while also not really liking Jordan Love. They confuse me, but at the end of the day, they are one of the best teams in the NFL between just how explosive their offense is. Their offense isn't one to we're going to dink and dunk down the field, have a 10-minute drive, kill the clock, whatever. They're a team that's going to score immediately or just not score the football. And it's the same thing with their defense. Their defense is going to be lights out, they're after you, or they just kind of get picked apart. But when this team is humming on both sides of the ball, they are one of the best teams in the league. And that version of the Packers showed up against the Bears. They played absolutely fantastic. And maybe I say, hey, they're looking for a wide receiver 1. Maybe it's Christian Watson. Added another 2 TDs for him in this one. I think he finished with 89 yards. He now has 5 touchdowns in his last 4 games. Cool. Again, Christian Watson is former first-round pick, mega athlete. He's just hurt all the time. Yeah, the Packers have a lot of guys who I like. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. Again, the Packers are hard to explain, and I know that's fair. I think they're a top 5 team in my power rankings, but they're just very, very confusing. And I think that's okay. Shout out to wide receiver turned corner, turned maybe back to wide receiver, Bo Melton. He caught a touchdown in this one and had more playing time than first round pick Matthew Golden. And Packers fans were so excited about, oh my God, we finally drafted a first round wide receiver, and Matthew Golden has obviously not lived up to any kind of expectations and just looked like he's just flat out not a part of this offense. For an offense, just, again, I don't know who the receivers are on any given day, but when a guy who in the offseason, the Packers like, you might be better served as a cornerback for us, is taking snaps over you at wide receiver, it's not going so well. Not going so well at all. The Bears on the other side, they don't get the win, but like things pointing in the right direction. The fact that you were down early, down quick to this Packers team, and you battled your way back to tie the game and almost had a chance to tie the game in the last minute. People complain, it's like, oh, why did Caleb throw that ball? It was a bad, and yeah, not a great play, and I'm sure he learns on that to just take the check down, just run it. They had enough time. I think it was still first down. Like, they would have had more opportunities if he just kind of would have thrown that ball away, but regardless, the fact that the Packers were even there at the end of the game should be impressive to most people. The Bears are a good team. The Bears, again, I think Caleb needs to play better. I think that Caleb knows that he needs to play better. But they have a run game. They have weapons. They have the offensive line. People want to point at the defense to be like, oh, the defense sucks. I think this defense is getting better. I think that the secondary is getting better. And again, I think that they'll still make the playoffs. I think it's absolutely crazy. They went from the number 1 seed in the NFC to the 7 seed in the NFC, but that's just how close the NFC is right now. Next game up here, Rams 45, Cardinals 17. Rams absolutely get back on track. I predicted a whomping, and that's exactly what they did. Stafford, awesome. 22 of 31, 281 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. Puka Nacua, awesome. 7 catches, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns. The run game was awesome between Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. They combined for 25 carries, 212 yards, 3 touchdowns. The defense, 3 sacks and an interception. This is the Rams. This is when the Rams are doing everything right. They are one of the hardest teams to beat in this league because they have an elite offense and they have a very good defense. They don't have an elite defense, but when they play well, it is still a very good defense at the end of the day. Don't think I have much more to say for the Rams other than, yeah, they're really fucking good at football. Cardinals on the other side, not a ton. I enjoy the saga of Jacoby Brissett just kind of chucking the ball around and Michael Wilson being like the huge benefactor from it. When Marvin Harrison Jr. has been like out, Michael Wilson has had 15 catches for 185 yards, 10 catches for 118 yards, and in this past game, 11 catches, 142 yards, and 2 TDs. You want to put that over a 17-game season. 204 catches, 2,522 yards, and 11 touchdowns. Yeah, Michael Wilson's just like the best receiver of all time when Marvin Harrison Jr. is injured. I don't know what any of that means in terms of NFL anything, but Michael Wilson is fucking sick. I think he's a free agent coming up, and I'm very interested to see who kind of throws him a bag at least a little bit. I would like to see that, hey, maybe when Marv comes back, the offense looks like they can use both of them and Trey McBride and have like a really good passing attack, but I don't know. I guess not. I guess we'll see. And final game up here, Sunday Night Football, Texans at Chiefs. Texans 20, Chiefs 10. Whew, this Texans defense is elite. And again, I keep saying, oh, the top 3, it's the Texans, it's the Seahawks, it's the Broncos. Those are the best defenses in the league, and they are. The Texans are in a tier of their own. I just want to say that right now. The Texans are absolutely in a tier of their own. Just in this game, 3 interceptions, 7 passes defended, 2 sacks, 10 points allowed, only 274 yards allowed. The Texans are incredible. And they might have 4 All-Pros on their defense between Will Anderson, Derek Stingley, Danielle Hunter might get some recognition, Azeez Al-Shire might get some recognition, Jalen Petrie, who had his 4th interception on the year, Caden Bullock. This is a really good fucking defense. A lot of guys deserve to be recognized for how good they have been this year. But the Texans defense is again, on another level of anyone else right now. And this is why I do have the Texans as my 5th best team in my power rankings right now. Because that defense is good enough to stop any offense in football. I'm confident in saying that. And if the Texans offense, it has progressed over the last several weeks and CJ Stroud back healthy now, like, I think the Texans can make a run. Again, just having an elite unit on one side of the ball helps so much. But if the Texans offense can just be like slightly above average, watch out. And I think that they definitely can. I'm still in the camp of CJ Stroud is like a good, potentially top 10 quarterback. I think he's in and around my top 10 right now. I haven't done rankings in a while. But they have Nico Collins. Jaden Higgins has looked good. Jalen Noel has looked good. Christian Kirk has looked pretty good. Dalton Schultz has looked pretty good. They have the pass catchers. The run game, Woody Marks, Nick Chubb, good enough anyways, but needs a little more, but it's still good. In the way that this defense is playing, this Texans offense just needs to be good enough. And yeah, I think that they can make a run. I think that they're a lot of fun. We'll see what happens, but I don't know. Chiefs on the other side, they just don't have the juice. It's just they just flat up don't have it this year. And again, things can still go their way. I think that it'll be tough, but the Chiefs do have the schedule where, okay, they play the Chargers, the Titans, the Broncos, and the Raiders to finish their year. They can win 4 straight. They can get the 10 wins. I don't know if 10 wins will get you into the wild card with all the tiebreakers and stuff, but it's possible. Like, I wouldn't count them out just yet, but even if they do make it, I'm still not confident. Mainly the offensive line injuries too. They had no Josh Simmons, no Trey Smith, no Jawan Taylor. Again, going against Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. It was already bad going into the game, and then on I think the very first play, backup left tackle Wanya Morris gets hurt. He's out for the game now, and then in comes 2025 UDFA tackle Essa Poole out of Washington State. And shout out to him. This was probably the worst game to get thrown into in your debut, and he absolutely held his own. He was the first tackle this season to face Danielle Hunter 20 plus times and only allow 1 or fewer pressures. Shout out to Essa Poole. I don't know if this is going to turn into anything or if he'll develop into anything, but coming into a game not knowing that you're going to play and going against one of the best pass rushes in the league and holding up your end of the bargain, shout out to him. Fucking great game, but that's just kind of one of the only few points I can point out on the Chiefs of they played well. Trent McDuffie got hurt early in this game too. Multiple dropped passes that led to interceptions. Hello, you are live to tape on the Cover Zero podcast.
Oh shit, you're still recording. Okay, I'll talk to you later. I hate my hair and I'm gonna go get cake.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I love you. I'll see you later.
Okay, I love you too. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, back to that. I definitely have to ask Tasham if she wants me to keep that in. But again, multiple drop passes that went off the receivers or tight ends' hands and into interceptions. No one played well. This just isn't a well-built team. I think Pat Mahomes is doing his part. Was he great? No. Was he good enough? Probably. But the Texans defense, again, Chris Jones did his job. He looked like the old Chris Jones that we've all known, but he hasn't been that type of guy all season. George Karlaftis, who they just gave a big bag, he hasn't looked that great as well. Again, the Chiefs just don't have dudes. They just flat out don't have dudes. Xavier Worthy is an absolute bust. He is not good at football. And the only reason people don't talk about it is because Keon Coleman was picked right after him, and he looks worse. But I don't know. Shout out to Esapool, I guess. The Chiefs, I still think that they can do it. Will they do it? I doubt it. But I guess we will end it here, won't we, Luce? Any final remarks? No, that's okay. That's okay. You don't know much about football anyways. That's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I have my final exam tomorrow for first semester. Field skills. We're going over some compass stuff again. He basically told us it's the exact same thing as our test that we had in October. He just wants to make sure that we still have the skills. Yeah, so I don't know. School's almost done. I had my tree mensuration final exam today. Almost passed out walking to my tree because I woke up, did not eat enough, and then it was cold. And then my ADHD meds kicked in, and I did not have enough in my system, and I felt terrible. And I got to my tree, and I had to sit down for a little bit because, yeah, not fun. I don't know. End of the day here. Excited for Christmas to be done. Excited to, I don't know. I hope people go out tomorrow and I can have a drink with some of the people in class, but I guess we will see. And as always, if you have liked this, please like, share, retweet, subscribe, tell your friends, all that fun stuff. And until next time, peace.